Imagine this. You've slept well, eaten right, and even carved out time to exercise. But your mind still feels foggy, your muscles are sluggish, and your energy hits a wall halfway through the day. It's a frustrating paradox, doing all the right things, yet still feeling like your potential is locked behind glass. The surprising truth? Even with strong foundations, many people are still missing key physiological levers that science has shown to dramatically enhance both mental clarity and physical performance. And no, I'm not talking about stimulants, biohacking gimmicks, or anything synthetic. I'm talking about safe, natural compounds that have been studied in peer-reviewed research for their ability to boost focus, reduce fatigue, and accelerate recovery, all without the crash or risk of dependency. What's fascinating is that many of these compounds don't just work on the body, they work with it. They tap into systems your brain and muscles already rely on. Mitochondrial energy metabolism, neurotransmitter synthesis, muscle protein recovery, even neuroplasticity. And when used strategically, these compounds can become powerful tools in your mental and physical toolkit, helping you show up sharper, move with more power, and sustain high performance without burning out. So in this episode, we're going to dive into the three most evidence-backed, safe, and natural supplements that support exactly that. Each one will be grounded in clear neuroscience and physiology, and each one will come with practical behavioral protocols for implementation. But before we get there, it's worth asking, why are we talking about supplements at all? Shouldn't lifestyle come first? Absolutely. Supplements are not a substitute for sleep, movement, hydration, or purpose. But they can be multipliers. When the basics are solid, the right supplement at the right time and the right dose can shift you from functioning to flourishing. Here's what you'll learn in the next few sections. The mitochondrial molecule that reduces muscle soreness and mental fatigue. A brain-boosting amino acid that sharpens your focus under stress. A naturally occurring compound that repairs muscle damage while enhancing learning and memory. Protocols for timing and dosage based on circadian biology. How these compounds affect the brain's neurotransmitter systems, including dopamine, acetylcholine, and serotonin. And most importantly, how to use them, not abuse them, so you can perform better and feel better long term. Whether you're an athlete, a parent, a knowledge worker, or simply someone trying to feel more like yourself again, the tools we'll explore can help restore energy, reduce brain fog, and sharpen your edge. Naturally, sustainably, scientifically. Let's get into it. When most people hear creatine, they think of weightlifters or gym rats trying to bulk up. But creatine is far more than a performance enhancer for athletes. It's a molecule your brain and body already rely on every single day. In fact, your cells use creatine as a critical backup generator for energy, especially under stress or during intense mental or physical effort. Here's what the research shows. Creatine acts as a phosphate donor in the production of ATP, your body's cellular energy currency. When your muscles or neurons need a quick energy surge, creatine helps regenerate ATP, keeping you in the game longer, both physically and cognitively. A 2003 randomized controlled trial published in Psychopharmacology found that supplementing with creatine improved working memory and intelligence scores, particularly under tasks that demanded high cognitive load. In another study from the Journal of Clinical Psychopharmacology, creatine showed promise as an adjunct therapy for depression, possibly due to its effects on energy metabolism in the brain's frontal cortex. And here's what's really interesting. Under conditions of sleep deprivation, one of the most common performance killers, creatine has been shown to reduce the typical decline in reaction time, mental clarity, and focus. That makes it particularly useful for high performers, shift workers, parents of young children, or anyone navigating chronically busy, overstimulated days. But the benefits don't stop at the brain. In the body, creatine supports muscle endurance and short burst power, faster post-workout recovery, reduced exercise-induced soreness, and improved hydration status within cells. This matters because one of the hidden drivers of both mental fatigue and muscle soreness is energy depletion at the cellular level. Creatine helps replenish that, making it a foundational supplement for energy systems. Not just a bonus, for athletes. So how can you use it? There's a simple protocol to apply. Daily dose, 3 to 5 grams per day of micronized creatine monohydrate, the most researched and effective form. Timing, morning or post-exercise is ideal. Consistency matters more than timing, with or without food. Either works, but taking it with carbohydrates may increase absorption slightly. Hydration, ensure you're drinking plenty of water. Creatine increases intracellular fluid retention. If you're vegetarian or vegan, this is even more relevant. Studies show those who consume less creatine through diet, it's found primarily in meat and fish, experience even greater cognitive and physical benefits when supplementing. Now, a quick myth to bust: creatine is not a steroid, it doesn't alter your hormones, and it's not associated with long-term health risks in healthy individuals when taken in recommended doses. It's one of the most studied and safest performance supplements in the world, with over 1,000 peer-reviewed studies supporting its use. A final question to ask yourself: when was the last time you supported your brain's energy system, not just your morning routine? Creatine offers a rare win-win, a supplement that helps your body move better and your mind think more clearly. For anyone who wants to stay sharp, strong, and resilient, it's one of the smartest places to start. Imagine being in a flow state, focused, alert, but entirely calm, not wired, not distracted, just deeply present. That's the effect L-theanine can help create. And unlike stimulants that force the brain into overdrive, L-theanine works by tuning your brain's rhythms rather than pushing your energy artificially. L-theanine is an amino acid found almost exclusively in green tea, and it's one of the reasons monks have used tea in meditation for centuries. It doesn't sedate you. Instead, it enhances a specific kind of brainwave activity, alpha waves, associated with calm alertness, creativity, and mental clarity. Here's what the research shows. A 2008 study in biological psychology found that L-theanine supplementation increased alpha wave activity in the brain within 30 to 45 minutes of ingestion, particularly in the occipital and parietal regions, which are involved in sensory processing and attention. And another 2012 double-blind study from the Journal of Functional Foods found that a combination of 100 milligrams of L-theanine and 50 milligrams of caffeine significantly improved attention switching accuracy and alertness compared to caffeine alone, without increasing blood pressure or anxiety. This matters because while caffeine is a widely used focus tool, it comes with side effects: jitteriness, irritability, and post-crash fatigue. But when L-theanine is combined with caffeine, even in modest amounts, it smooths out those effects, creating a more stable, sustainable form of focus. Here's a simple protocol you can apply if using L-theanine with caffeine. Take 100 to 200 mg of L-theanine with your morning coffee or tea, or use a pre-formulated stack. If using it without caffeine, take 200 to 400 mg in the late morning or early afternoon to promote calm focus without sedation. Best timing, 30 to 45 minutes before cognitively demanding work, writing, decision-making, studying, etc. Optional stack. Combine with tyrosine or magnesium glycinate if you're under chronic stress or experiencing fatigue. Have you ever noticed how your focus tends to fracture during the day, essentially under pressure or noise? What's happening in your brain is a loss of inhibitory control, essentially the ability to filter out distractions. L-theanine increases GABA and dopamine levels in the brain, which helps stabilize neural activity and reduce noise. You become less reactive, more centered, and able to sustain attention for longer periods without feeling overstimulated. And for those dealing with anxiety, L-theanine may offer another benefit. Several studies like the 2016 meta-analysis in Nutrients show that regular use can reduce subjective anxiety and improve sleep quality, again, without impairing performance. If creatine is about fueling your brain's energy, L-theanine is about tuning your brain's rhythm, helping you show up with more mental agility, grace, and poise. And that's just one more proof that prohibition is about tuning your brain's rhythm, helping you show up with more mental agility, grace, and poise. If this insight is helping you rethink your approach to focus, consider subscribing. This channel is all about real science and real tools. Not hype, but habits that work. Now, we'll explore omega-3s not just for inflammation, but for muscle recovery, learning, and long-term brain health. If you've heard that omega-3s reduce inflammation, that's true. But it's also just the beginning of their story. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA eicosapentaenoic acid and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, are structural components of the brain. Your neurons are literally built with them. They make up cell membranes, support synaptic function, and regulate the fluidity and signaling capacity of brain cells. In the body, they help resolve inflammation, accelerate repair, and even influence gene expression related to muscle regeneration and neuroplasticity. Here's what the research shows. A 2014 randomized controlled trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that daily supplementation with omega-3s, approximately 3G, combined EPA/DHA, significantly reduced markers of muscle soreness and improved neuromuscular function following eccentric exercise. Athletes in the study recovered faster, experienced less delayed onset muscle soreness, and maintained higher force output after intense physical strain. And in the brain, a 2017 review in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience noted that higher levels of DHA are associated with improved working memory, faster reaction times, and even protection against age cognitive decline. Omega-3s influence brain-degrade neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a key protein involved in learning and synaptic plasticity, the very foundation of memory, focus, and emotional regulation. But it goes deeper. DHA increases the flexibility of neuronal membranes, enhancing the transmission of neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine. That means better mood regulation, better executive function, and sharper cognitive control. So what's the best way to use them? Here's a science-based protocol. Daily dose 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams combined EPA and DHA with at least 1,000 milligrams from EPA form, like krill oil or high-quality fish oil. Improves absorption. Timing. With a meal containing fat, morning or midday to align with peak brain activity. Consistency. Benefits build over weeks. Aim for at least 4 to 6 weeks before evaluating results. For those following plant-based diets, while flaxseed and chia offer ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, the conversion to EPA and DHA is extremely limited. In that case, consider supplementing with algae-directed EPA/DHA, which bypasses the conversion bottleneck. Here's something most people miss. When your omega-3 levels are suboptimal, which they are in over 80% of Western adults, your brain literally becomes less efficient, neuronal signaling slows, inflammatory signaling increases, mood becomes harder to regulate, physical recovery is delayed, the system becomes sluggish. Have you ever felt like your brain just isn't clicking the way it used to? Like your thoughts are moving through syrup instead of air? That mental friction often has a physiological root, and omega-3s, when replenished consistently, help grease the gears of both cognition and movement. One more benefit worth noting, omega-3s also appear to help with emotional resilience. A 2011 study from the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry found that EPA supplementation significantly reduced symptoms of depression, particularly in people with elevated inflammation. Why? Because the immune system and the brain are deeply interconnected, and what reduces inflammation can often restore clarity, calm, and motivation. So whether you're training your body, upgrading your mind, or simply trying to feel more balanced and resilient, omega-3s are one of the most fundamental tools you can use. It's easy to think of supplements as static, like flipping a switch. Take the pill, get the result. But your body isn't static. It's rhythmic. It's governed by biological clocks, especially your central circadian rhythm, which shapes when hormones are released, when digestion is optimized, when neurons are most responsive, and even when inflammation peaks or subsides. What's happening in your brain and body when you take a supplement determines how well it's used, or whether it gets wasted or worse, counterproductive. Let's break it down with real examples. Creatine. Creatine's primary role is ATP regeneration. Because ATP is burned most intensely during activity, taking creatine either in the morning or post-exercise tends to yield the best benefits. One meta-review in Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, 2017, found that post-workout dosing, when cells are primed to absorb nutrients, may slightly outperform pre-workout timing for muscle recovery. But if mental energy is your goal, morning intake is ideal. This aligns with cortisol's natural rise, supporting alertness and cellular energy demand. 2. L-theanine. L-theanine promotes calm focus through GABA and alpha wave modulation. It can be used in 2 strategic windows. Morning balances stimulation, enhances productivity. Afternoon, without caffeine, smooths cardiovascular windows and prevents that mental crash around 2 to 4 p.m. Avoid it too late in the evening if your goal is focus, though at higher doses, 400 milligram plus, it can be used specifically to enhance sleep quality by reducing nighttime rumination. 3. Omega-3s fat-soluble compounds like EPA and DHA are best absorbed with food, particularly a meal containing fat. Morning or lunch is ideal for enhancing mental sharpness throughout the day, while evening use may promote overnight anti-inflammatory repair. Just avoid taking omega-3s on an empty stomach. Absorption can drop by up to 70%. Let's bring in circadian biology. Your body isn't equally receptive all day long. For example, cognitive alertness tends to peak mid to late morning, around 9 a.m. to noon. Muscle strength and cardiovascular performance peak in the late afternoon, 3 to 6 p.m. Wound healing and recovery processes ramp up at night during slow wave sleep. This means supplements that support focus and attention, like L-theanine, creatine for mental energy, should align with your mental peak hours. Supplements that support muscle repair and inflammation control, like omega-3 exercise or before rest. The microbiome and digestive system operate on a circadian rhythm too. Nutrient transporters and enzymes fluctuate throughout the day. So consistency with timing, even more than the exact hour, helps your body anticipate and optimize how it uses supplements. Ask yourself, are you aligning your tools with your biology or fighting against it? Because when timing is tuned, supplements stop being blunt instruments and start behaving like smart tools. Every thought you have, every decision you make, every moment of motivation or fatigue, it all comes down to neurotransmitters. These chemical messengers are what allow your brain cells to communicate. They determine whether you feel energized or sluggish, focused or scattered, hopeful or overwhelmed. And the 3 supplements we've explored, creatine, L-theanine, and omega-3s, each modulate these systems in different but highly complementary ways. Let's start with dopamine, the neurotransmitter of drive, focus, and reward anticipation. Creatine indirectly supports dopamine by fueling the ATP systems that power dopaminergic neurons. Neurons are energy hungry, and without adequate mitochondrial support, dopamine signaling falters, especially under stress or sleep deprivation. Omega-3s, particularly DHA, improve the membrane fluidity of dopaminergic neurons, enhancing signal strength and receptor sensitivity. Studies like a 2009 paper in Nature Neuroscience show that deficiencies in omega-3s correlate with reduced dopamine availability in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center for decision-making and attention. Now consider GABA, your brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter. It's what helps prevent overstimulation and calms neural activity. L-theanine boosts GABA levels while simultaneously promoting alpha wave activity, helping you feel alert but grounded, focused without frenzy. This is especially valuable in today's overstimulated world, where dopamine overload from constant pings and novelty can lead to burnout, impulsivity, and scattered thinking. Then there's acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for learning, memory, and sensory processing. It plays a central role in neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt, grow, and rewire based on experience. Omega-3s, through their role in synaptic membrane integrity, support the production and transmission of acetylcholine. Improved acetylcholine signaling enhances reaction time, memory consolidation, and even your ability to enter a flow state. Lastly, serotonin, associated with emotional regulation, sleep, and overall well-being. Omega-3 supports healthy serotonin levels by modulating tryptophan transport and increasing serotonin precursors in the brain. Omega-3s have also been shown to reduce inflammation in serotonin pathways, a critical factor in modern depression, where inflammation disrupts receptor signaling. Let's zoom out. When you use these three compounds together, you're not just hitting isolated systems, you're rebalancing an entire neurochemical network. Creating fuels brain metabolism and enhances dopaminergic resilience. L-theanine stabilizes excitatory inhibitory balance via GABA and serotonin. Omega-3s improve communication across virtually all neurotransmitter systems, literally rebuilding the infrastructure of your mind. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you can do the same task with radically different results? One day sharp and effortless, another day foggy and frustrating. Often that difference isn't motivation or discipline, it's neurochemistry. And these compounds, in their simplicity, give you a non-invasive, sustainable way to optimize the terrain your mind is operating on. Here's a practical takeaway. When you feel wired but tired, support GABA L-theanine. When you feel low drive or scattered dopamine, creatine plus omega-3s. When you want to learn faster, focus longer, or stay emotionally balanced, support acetylcholine and serotonin, omega-3s plus L-theanine. And always remember, neurotransmitters don't act in isolation. They form feedback loops. Small shifts in one system can create cascading changes across your emotional, cognitive, and physical performance. This isn't about hacking your brain. It's about understanding it, then working with it gently, intelligently, and consistently. The promise of any supplement lies not in its potential, but in its integration. You can have the best research compound in the world, but if it's not used wisely or becomes a crutch, it loses its power, and in some cases can do more harm than good. Let's start with an essential distinction. Supplements are not meant to replace healthy behavior. They're meant to amplify it, to support systems that are already moving in the right direction. Think of them like tuning forks. They help your biology resonate more cleanly with its natural rhythm, but they can't carry the tune for you. So how do you build a science-based protocol that works? 1. Start with one compound at a time. Avoid stacking everything at once. Why? Because you won't know what's working or what's not. Introduce one supplement at a time for 7 to 10 days. Track your energy, focus, recovery, and mood. Let your body show you what it needs. Example sequence. Week 1, introduce creatine, 3 to 5 g/day in the morning. Week 2, layer in L-theanine, 200 to 200 mgs with caffeine, or 200 to 400 mgs solo in the afternoon. Week 3, add omega-3s, 2,000 to 3,000 mgs/day with meals too. Cycle when needed. While none of these compounds are addictive or known for building tolerance, periodic cycling can be wise, especially for mental sensitivity. Sample schedule. Creatine. Daily, long-term use is safe. No cycling needed unless you prefer to pause. L-theanine. Use as needed. Take breaks 1 to 2 days per week if using daily for focus. Omega-3, SMC effect. Sustained dietary assisted therapy. MCLA. Benefits build over week. If you stop, effects taper gradually. 3, pair with behavior, not escape. Ask yourself, am I taking this to enhance a strength or to escape a problem? Take L-theanine before a focused creative session, not to mute burnout. Take creatine to sustain high domino days, not to push through chronic exhaustion. Take omega-3s to nourish brain recovery, not to mask emotional inflammation. Supplements become most powerful when they're linked to your intentional practices. Morning routines, workouts, deep work sessions, or wind-down rituals. That's when they reinforce the identity you're building, not just the symptom you're solving. 4, create a stacking routine that's sustainable. Here's a sample stack based on science and circadian timing. Morning stack, creatine 3 to 5G in water or smoothie, omega-3s 2 to 3G with breakfast, optional, L-theanine 100 to 200 milligrams for coffee for smooth energy, afternoon focus stack if needed for calm plus neurotransmitter support, evening wind down, optional on heavy days, omega-3s 1G with dinner, light walk, sunlight dimming, and no stimulation. Let the compounds do their quiet work. 5, pay attention to feedback loops. Listen to your body. Notice when focus comes more easily, when recovery feels faster, when your mood holds steadier under pressure. These are signs that the systems are working, not because you took something, but because you're supporting what was always there, waiting to be optimized. Here's a principle to live by. Use supplements to support your best self, not to salvage your worst days. When used wisely, these natural compounds can elevate your focus, reduce unnecessary friction, and create a neurochemical environment where excellence feels effortful but possible, the sweet spot where real progress lives. If this breakdown helped you feel more equipped, not just to take supplements, but to understand how they fit into a science-backed life, consider liking or subscribing. This channel is here to help you grow your brain, your performance, and your purpose with clarity and calm. When it comes to optimizing your performance mentally and physically, it's tempting to look for a magic bullet, a perfect routine, a single fix, a quick upgrade. But the real story, as neuroscience consistently shows, is more subtle, more sustainable, and far more empowering. What we explored today isn't a list of hacks. It's a set of tools, scientifically grounded, biologically compatible, and behaviorally practical, that help you restore the energy, focus, and recovery your body was always capable of. Let's quickly recap. Creatine powers your brain and muscles at the cellular level, reducing fatigue, sharpening cognition, and improving performance under stress. L-theanine helps you access calm alertness, enhancing focus without overstimulation by modulating GABA, dopamine, and alpha brainwaves. Omega-3s, EPA, and DHA support emotional stability, faster muscle recovery, and cognitive resilience by literally rebuilding the structure of your neurons. We also covered how circadian timing can amplify the effects of supplements, how these tools interact with core neurotransmitters like dopamine, acetylcholine, and serotonin, shaping everything from motivation to memory, and how to use them intelligently, cycling when needed, pairing them with purpose, and anchoring them to behaviors that reinforce the identity you want to build. But here's what really matters. This isn't about feeling superhuman. It's about feeling like yourself again, but clearer, steadier, more energized, more capable of showing up for the people and goals that matter most to you. And maybe that's the most important shift of all. Not chasing perfection, but creating a foundation of mental and physical integrity you can trust. So here's a challenge for you. Pick one of these tools, whichever speaks to your current season of life, and try it for the next 7 days. Track how you feel. Be honest. Be curious. Your brain and body will tell you more than any label can. And if you found value in this breakdown, if this helped you understand not just what to take, but why and how to take it, consider liking the video, sharing it, or subscribing. Not because of metrics, but because this channel is here for people like you, people who care about science, who care about showing up with purpose, and who are ready to build a brain and body they can trust, not through gimmicks, but through grounded, evidence-based tools. So thank you for being here. Keep asking better questions. Keep tuning your system. Keep growing your capacity to focus, recover, and lead with clarity. I'll see you in the next episode.